There are other reasons. There are some political reasons. But listen, as far as that goes, and we have freedom and everything, but I tell you, there's, just as Paul the apostle warned, do not use your freedom as an opportunity for the flesh. If we'd been the light and the salt we were called to be as American Christians, maybe we wouldn't see that kind of stuff coming out of America either. Not because people can't do it, but because they wouldn't want to. But we need to understand these issues. And we need to ask, though, right now, why are those who have taken an oath to defend the Constitution doing so much to destroy it? Why are they attacking so ruthlessly anyone who would speak out on these ultimate issues? Basic mandate of the federal government is to defend us from enemies within and without. And we're being made the most vulnerable we have ever been in our history right now. Now, I believe that this is one of the great opportunities. We've got to speak the truth. We've got to be bold about it. Won't back up. I so appreciate the way recently many political leaders in our country, future presidential candidates, Newt Gingrich has started speaking out boldly about these very things. There are many others. Sue Myrick, our Congress lady from Charlotte, the Charlotte area, is doing an unbelievable job. She wrote the foreword to The Muslim Mafia, one of the important books written about what is unfolding right here in our own country. Many others are standing up and starting to speak out. But I want to tell you about some basic things you can read yourself in the Quran. Now, it's true, the modern versions of the Quran are in some ways very different from the original Arabic. What I've been told by those who know these things is that it's different in this way mostly. It's been so watered down. Things like I was even told this week by a friend who knows some of these things, that just using the term to fight against Christians and Jews, in the original, it slaughtered them. It's a far more harsh, intense thing, and much of it has been changed that way, just like a lot of our modern versions of the Bible have been greatly watered down. But I want to tell you some basic principles about understanding Islam that many Muslims do not understand about their faith. Okay? Now, the first one is called abrogation. Basic principle, easy to understand. Basically, this means Allah could not find anyone on earth that really agreed with him, that he could reveal himself to, except he found Muhammad, somebody he could work with and bring to that place. His first revelation, the first visitation, was meant to bring Muhammad to the place where he could then give him another revelation to take him further into his understanding and prepare him so he could find and receive and understand the ultimate revelation of Allah's will on the earth. Now, what this means is what came in the second revelation abrogated it. The first no longer counts once you get the second level. Once you get the third level and understand Allah's ultimate will, the first two parts, it trumps the first two parts. You get that? Very simple concept. You can read some scriptures in the Quran that are gracious towards Christians and Jews, where you might read these and think, well, it is a peaceful religion. You can greatly distort things. The scriptures are distorted this way. I'm talking about our Bible is distorted the same way. You can take things out of context. Peter warned that about Paul's teachings. He said they're hard to understand and the untrained and untaught distort them. So if Muhammad had to go through this process of over 20 years so he could receive the ultimate revelation of Allah's will, mind, heart. People just coming into Islam go through that process. Many of them may not have even heard about what's in part 2 or part 3. Now, all the seemingly peaceful and gracious ones are in the first part. The most harsh are in the last part, which is basically subdue the world for Allah, and everyone who will not bow the knee is to be either enslaved or killed, especially Christians and Jews. That's where it's all headed. So are the extremists, are they the true believers? The real believers who are just trying to obey what they believe is being said to them. Jihad is a mandate in Islam until the world is subdued. Sharia law, that is the main purpose of Islam. It's not just to convert everyone to be a Muslim, but it's to subdue the world and bring it under Sharia law. We must understand Sharia law, and I cannot imagine anything being more basically and profoundly contrary to our U.S. Constitution. Couldn't be anything more contrary. It absolutely cannot be imposed on Americans without violating their constitutional rights. Now, the Muslims are doing what they believe in, doing what they're trained to do. They're doing it brilliantly. They've had a 50-year plan that has been working brilliantly. But I tell you, if we don't wake up now, we are going to wake up under Islam. In the Quran, we'll be supplying chapters and verses, and we've got materials where we can bring all this out, and you can buy it in any bookstore now. Books are coming out on this, and they're flying off the shelves as well. They should be. But in Islam, it is a virtue to deceive your enemy. I started protesting when people start saying, now, this didn't just come from paranoid Americans or paranoid Christians. When a friend who was a member of a foreign European intelligence service told me Obama's a Muslim. Now, personally, I'm still not totally there yet, but he was adamant. Others were adamant from other countries were adamant about this. I said, it's not possible. He's got a dog. He got a dog. How can he be a Muslim? He has barbecues at the White House. No Muslim's going to do that. They said, you don't understand. And they showed me chapter and verse in the Quran where you can violate any of the basic principles of the Quran in order to deceive your enemy, in order to gain a position over them. Many believe this is what is happening with our president and many others in our government. I don't know. But something's going on that is either intentional or it is unbelievable ignorance. Either one is really scary. It's not. It is against Islamic law for a Muslim to have any friend who is not a Muslim. So you may think they're your best friends, but what are they doing? They are allowed to befriend anyone to gain an advantage over them. Why is it? If it's a virtue to deceive, you cannot have a Muslim friend. It is also against Muslim law to make agreements with a non-Muslim. Why do they go and have all these treaties? Now, they can freely do that in order to deceive, but why do they break them the next day as if it didn't mean a thing? They're actually obeying their law by doing this, if it's an agreement made with non-Muslims. And then it is also a mandate to build mosques to demonstrate victory over conquered foes. And this is what is raising so much of a stink at Ground Zero. That's why they built a mosque on the Dome of the Rock in Jerusalem. They wanted to build it on the very foundation of where the temple of